Hi, Megan. Hi, Paige.
Hello.
Hey, how you doing?
Like your background, Paige.
Thank you. I love adventure time.
Yes. Hi, Heather. I know Heather's in Philly. I'm in Philly. It's gorgeous here.
I grew up in Pennsylvania. I missed 4 seasons here in California.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, we're in southern Arizona. We're just hot. We're getting to that point where it's just hot. But it's
You're
been
already there.
Yeah, well, it's been very pretty lately. Like in the morning, it's beautiful, but then you hit noon and you're a little bit like, why?
Great. Hi, Molly. Hi, Matt. Simon's connecting. Hello. We were just checking about weather across the country.
Very nice in Pittsburgh right now. We
Yeah.
had some real cold weather like last week, but it's super nice right now.
Man, everybody's in Pennsylvania. I'm jealous. Eating whoopie pies and butterscotch crimpets.
Are there not butterscotch crimpets in other parts of the country?
Nope. Tasty cakes are a Pennsylvania thing. You got to be within driving distance of Pennsylvania to get them. Middlesworth potato chips, birch beer, tea berry ice cream. The list goes on and on. Things I grew up with that I can't eat in California.
Yeah, I was gonna say I've never heard of them, sorry, but we got the Sonoran dogs and prickly pear lemonade, so I'll take a.
Well, my partner pointed out, he's not from Pennsylvania, and he pointed out that, all the stuff in Philadelphia that's famous to eat is really bad for you.
What? French fries in your sandwiches? Come on. It's great.
I know. Or like the pretzels that have like been sitting in in like a parking lot, just like it's really kind of nasty.
With so much rock salt that the corners of your mouth bleed.
Yes.
My favorite.
Yeah.
Jason, hey, since you're here, I will point out I'm late for work because I'm in this convening.
I kind of figured that.
Thank you.
We'll see you when you get here.
Thanks for all being here. And Matt, you got it here. Yay.
I did, yeah. Fiona's here now. She got a special half day of school and she's gonna go for lunch or something. So Fiona got into the National Elementary Honor Society.
Blab on my business like that.
Sorry, I won't blab about her business anymore. But anyway, there's a ceremony
Yay,
today.
Fiona.
Well, congratulations.
That's awesome. I didn't know there was an elementary one. That's interesting.
I didn't either until this year. Yeah.
Yeah. Cool. Okay, so a couple more people we're expecting, but we can start at any time, I think. Hi, Katie. Thanks for joining us. Hi, Molly and Jason. We were talking about these. I just put the agenda in that we talked about in our chat. It seems like we could do a pretty, I don't know, what do you think, Matt? Like go around summer activities while people introduce themselves or something?
Yeah. I think one thing we talked about was just getting this meeting started with something that you're excited about for the summer, whether that's like a special program that you're doing or a new partner that you're working with or whatever, but some summer fun. So I don't mind starting. I'm Matt from the Science Museum of Virginia. I'm excited because the mix is really going to be open back to our normal summer schedule, Monday through Friday. So I'm excited that we're going to get to see more of the teens and really open the space up, but also we're going to get to do our what we call mixed giving this summer. So we're going to do a cooking week where we use one of the exhibits at the museum, which has like a full kitchen, and we learn how to cook and just do general meal prep and planning stuff as well. And then at the end of the week, we're going to have our mixed giving meal where the teens cook the meal and we all sit down together and eat it. So it's been since before the pandemic since we've had a real one. So I'm excited. And I'll just I guess I'll just throw it to somebody else. So how about Paige? I think you're still muted.
Yeah, there we go. I pressed it and then decided I didn't press it. Hi, I'm Paige from the Pima County Public Library down in Southern Arizona in Tucson. And she, her. And so this summer, we have our Comic-Con thing coming back, Mega Mania. It's the library con, and I'm working on it. And it's really exciting because I know what all of the teens like because they're all nerds, just like we are. And so it's going to be exciting being able to present them with this opportunity to really just embrace that and let's just love anime and comic books and all of this fun stuff. I got big comic group or cosplay groups coming, so it'll be a grand time. All right, Simon, sure.
I'm Simon. I work for Carnegie Library of Pittsburgh. We have the labs here, and I'm excited. I'm going to start pushing out lab stations to all of our locations, which are just really iMacs and MacBooks. And we're trying to really focus down on just a few creative software and not overload, because we have it at so many different locations so that we can train everybody. So we're really looking at just Affinity design software and GarageBand and Final Cut, and that's it for now. And then just slowly building off that, but just having this technology all around the city for teens to sort of engage with as they get used to it, or to have that opportunity to geek out. I'm really excited that that's happening.
Simon, what were the three? You said GarageBand, Final Cut, and what?
Affinity. So we decided to stop using Adobe because we just can't keep up with their subscription-based service. So Affinity is sort of it's got Illustrator alternative, a Photoshop alternative, and a InDesign alternative and you just buy it once and you've got it, and it's pretty affordable as well. So yeah, I'm pretty excited to start using that. Okay, and I will pass it on to Molly.
Hi, my name is Molly. I'm from the Billings Public Library. I'm kind of new to this position. I've only been doing it since January, but I'm excited for the summer. It's going to be my first summer working with the teens. So that's really exciting. A program that I'm really excited for is we've partnered with the art museum, and so they have a teen group, and we're doing a lot of stuff together this summer, but kind of two of the highlights, we're doing a manga graphic novel workshop with them, and then their teens are going to come over and learn about 3D printers and do 3D print a little thing. So it'll be fun. Let's see, I will pass it to Megan.
Thanks. I'm Megan Anderson. I'm the Youth Centers Manager for San Francisco Public Library. I work with Jason Hill, and so I work with both the Mix and the Children's Center. So the thing I'm excited about, poor Christine, I feel like I never shut up about my Dungeons and Dragons for a workforce development program, but that's what I'm excited about. That we've had a D&D club for children and one for teens for some time, and we were asked to put together a youth workforce development program. And so I'm working with a professional dungeon master. We're going to start in June. We have 15 kids who have signed up, teens between 15 and 19, to do a 6-week program learning how to be dungeon masters. It's stipended, and each week we're also going to learn how to take one part of D&D dungeon mastering and translate that into a job skill that then they're going to learn how to write a resume by the end of the 6 weeks too. And kids who complete it and want to join in the library as programmers will be invited to lead a 6-week D&D campaign at a branch with kids 9 to 12. So work pulling together, and fingers crossed that we're about to launch. And I will pass it to Heather.
I had a feeling I was going to get it next. I'm Heather Sparks, she, they. I currently oversee LEAP at the Free Library of Philadelphia, and LEAP is our literacy enrichment after school program. It also takes on a lot of maker stuff. And I say currently because my role is changing, so I may not be here for much longer. But we'll be in touch, Christina, don't worry. Don't worry, nobody panic, everything is fine. But the thing that I'm excited, though, that our department's putting together is we've always had a partnership with the Franklin Institute doing science in the summer. And that was a program that brought hands-on science experiments, intense sessions to our neighborhoods. And it always was guided by a teacher. Well, the Franklin Institute is making it a little bit more immersive. So it'll be led by our library staff. And I'm excited to think about the community building that can happen there as we're still trying to recover from COVID and our attendance loss as it was. So yeah, that's what's going on over here. I'll pass it to, I don't know, Marcus.
Hey, how's everybody doing? Marcus Brown with the Kansas City Public Library. I facilitate the Kansas City Digital Media Lab, which is our teen makerspace. We're getting ready for summer. We have 2 main summer programs that we do. One is Teen Digital, and that's for teenagers to come in and make and build. We'll be focusing on audio production and art this summer. And they also get a $150 stipend at the end of the summer for participating in the program. This will be the first year we'll also have a tween camp on our site as well. And so this will be a 4-day, 3-week camp for young people 8 to 11 to come in and take advantage of the space. Also do some more kind of outdoor activities that we kind of have built into the process. But ultimately, it's our angle at growing the young people into the space and introducing this technology at a younger level. So this will be our inaugural program with the tweens in the space, if you will. So we're kind of excited about that. Oh, I have to pass it to somebody. Let's see. Paige, have you went?
I think Katie's the only one.
Katie, it's
Christina.
on you, Katie.
Hey, good morning. I'm Katie and my pronouns are she, her, hers. I'm in Tucson, Arizona with the Pima County Public Library. And I work at the downtown branch. And we're excited to reintroduce some summer camps starting in June. We had these before the pandemic and we'll be reintroducing them this summer. We have a zine making camp coming up. It's a plastic water bottle cap mural. We have thousands of these. The idea kind of started out with someone who walked in and asked if we could take a donation. And then that kind of grew into this idea of a collaborative art project where the kids will kind of plan out what the design would be and sketch it out. And it'll be pretty large scale. And then go ahead and start creating it. What else do we have? We have some DIY craft camps coming up, like soap making, candle making, etc. And we'll have, let's see, an art camp with some drawing and painting as well. So we're really excited for those. And I will pass it on to Jason.
I think I'm the last one. I just want to say first off, I'm so excited to meet you all. It's my first year at the Mix at San Francisco Public Library. So UMedia is kind of newer to me. So I'm excited to get to know you all better. Let's see, this summer I'm excited about using we recently got our upgrade on all our Mac devices. So we have new iMacs, new iPad Pros, and new MacBook Pros. So I'm excited to get those put into use. I'm doing, like Marcus and Simon were kind of mentioning, like video editing, audio, bringing the iPads out and getting some Apple Pens to do art on the iPads. We're going to use Procreate. It's a weird name, but Procreate to do that. Hopefully we get that app and it looks really exciting. Can't wait to learn to use that. Video editing, podcasts, and 3D printing. And I'm hoping to do like a weekly maker creation kind of program. So each week it'll be something different. And one more thing I'm excited about is we're going to let 12-year-olds into the mix finally, which I'm so excited because when they come to visit with their classes, they're super excited. And I feel like we're going to get a lot of them in for the summer. That's it.
I'm hearing a lot about this Procreate, and I saw a lot of thumbs up and head nods on that. So it just was introduced to me from the person that facilitates art in our space last week, and she's like, man, this thing is gonna be something to contend with. Like, she's like, it'll pull me away from Adobe. Is it that? Is it that interesting, or is that robust?
I mean, I think you're trying to talk, but you're on mute.
Sorry. Yeah, it's wonderful. We have a bunch of labs kits, and one of them is a digital art kit, which has the Apple Pencil and Procreate, and it's by far the most popular one with the teens. And it's very simple to use. The interface is very simple. I've given it to my 6-year-old, and she can like draw some stuff on it. But then if you learn like what it can do, it's really powerful as well. And there's tons of tutorials on YouTube and everything. It's very well used as well, which is super helpful. So. And it's very cheap too. It's like $10, $13. So it's affordable for any team that wants to have it on their own devices.
Cool.
Simon, you also mentioned Affinity, just because I know Marcus wasn't there. Is that like a suite of tools or what? I haven't heard.
Yeah, it's I'll pop the link in the thing. But yeah, it has a vector graphics, it has like a rasterized graphics, and it has like a design software. And I'll put the link to it in the chat. I'll just have to find it if you give me a moment.
And just because I'm speaking, for those who don't know me, I'm Christina Cantrell from the National Writing Project. So I'm here in Philadelphia just by chance. And I call myself a fangirl of the U Media Network. So my exciting thing is I get to come to the convening in June. And to hear all these great ideas. On the Procreate side, I want to say that I do find it a really powerful tool myself. I've used it for several projects, but it is amazing what my 7-year-old niece can do with it. I mean, I was really impressed. I was like, oh, this might be too hard for you. And she was like, no. Katie, did you raise your hand?
Yeah, I just had a question. With some of the technology, I'm a little bit familiar with some, but others I don't know. And I was just wondering what the best way for staff to learn how to use these if they're going to be leading a program, if anyone has tips on that.
Again, that's a community of practice question. That's a great question for the communities of practice and how we facilitate, and use this time that we're together. Again, so if somebody in the community of practices, expresses a need to want to level up or get that consultancy, that's the benefit of being in a network. So it can be within this space when we meet, or it can be offline and you say, well, oh yeah, Procreate, Simon, can we connect and run through that? I think that's the benefit of being here, is that we don't have to figure out who knows some of these things. We can go right to the experts. Did you have a particular software in mind, or you were just inquiring in general?
Just in general.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, I've been so I'm trying to been really hard to like train all of our staff because they're doing so many different things. So we're focusing on just very few things, but I try a couple different things. Like I have documentation that I make for the different apps that we're using. And then I've been trying very slowly trying to make videos, tutorials on those apps. And then what was really helpful as we were doing, like, especially now we can do this virtually, is like virtual skill shares where, I'll spend an hour going through an activity with the app and like, share my screen, have them go along with that activity with me. And I've heard some good things about that, sort of like that dedicates that time to like learning the apps or forces them to do it, but that they're able to then do it with me and then ask questions while they're going is helpful. I'll say giving those trainings is like not it's a weird experience because you feel like you're just talking to yourself and like you're like hoping that people are understanding to you, but it's
Right.
been mostly positive feedback so far.
Mhm. And so,
Go, Marcus.
oh, I just was curious. Jason, you've been with the network for a year, and how long I didn't catch how long you have been with the network, Katie? How new to you to Pima County?
I've been in this role since about August,
Oh, okay. Cool,
so
cool.
so newer-ish.
Uh-huh. Some time to get your feet wet. Yeah. And just enough time to realize what you don't know too so much.
In the background, I was trying to, for some reason, I can't get my browser to load anything I'm trying to reach. So I was trying to find the online link for the community of practice. I just can't get to any of my links for some reason. So I'm opening a new browser right now. But if someone has that, and Katie, are you coming to the convening? Because I
Yes,
also can't open my list.
Yes, I'll be attending in June.
Great. Because I think that is, and maybe we can start to talk about the convening a little bit, because the afternoon might be a great time in those unconference sessions that are being planned, might be a great time for that kind of conversation that you're asking. Like, how do you do this kind of training at your sites? Anyway, I was just saying it might be a good topic of conversation. But if someone can find.
Yeah, I have the link.
Okay. And then this is the link. So I can see the document. So I'm gonna put this link in the forum and see if you can all see it. Because I can't open it right now, but this is the link to like a draft agenda for the convening too.
Okay.
Oh, it's so sad when things don't work. Okay. Thanks, Marcus. And if you guys click on the Google Doc, can you open that? Does it open for you?
Yep, opens.
Great. So I think we were going to talk about a shift to talking about the convening and kind of thinking about I guess go over the agenda a little bit and see, and then also think about what everybody might bring to the convening, both your questions, but also some content that you might share there. Does anyone from the program committee want to go over this agenda, since I can't even see it right now?
Sure, I can draft agenda. Let's see. Let's see if I can share my screen.
I would probably need to give you access. Okay,
Oh.
try again.
All right, is everybody seeing it? Yeah, yeah. So do we want to just read through it, or do we want to let
Yeah.
folks?
Yeah, do you want to start, Marcus, and I'll pick up some of it. We can just take turns, I guess.
All right, so again, we got the arrival. Said arrive, get food, settle in, you immediate welcome from CPL Commissioner. So we'll have that uh, early in the morning. One of the things that she had just kind of mentioned too was that this will also be the place where we'll be having whatever we're going to display from our relative locations. I'm actually planning on bringing a few pieces of art and a few small 3D design pieces, and then we have some other digital audio pieces that we'll have displayed. So we'll have that happening kind of as that gallery walk in that early part, I believe. If I'm not jumping ahead there. So just thinking about that, 9:45 to 11:15, mess around, geek out.
Yeah, this is more the gallery walk thing, yeah.
This is more the gallery walk here.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay, so then that's just kind of, we'll be getting there. Just that's the arrival time then. Okay.
Yeah.
Yeah. Then we'll get to that gallery walk that I just mentioned. Messing around, geeking out. We'll have Julie doing some things, Megan and Brian. I was focusing on my piece. I'll be looking at doing the media hallmark. So let's see here. As explainers, talk about that. Can you talk about what that means as an explainer there, just to be sure?
Sure, I can hop in here. That the idea is
Yeah.
that from 9:45 to 11:15, we're going to have this time slot where early on people will be just looking at the posters, the artifacts that we bring, that you bring from your UMedia space. It's not too late to volunteer to contribute something, and that I and Brian will be there as explainers to kind of facilitate if there are questions or help people understand, like, what are we supposed to be doing right now? As well as discussing the pieces as we understand them.
Mm-hmm. Then, yeah, just the next piece, a short piece there with the media hallmarks. Again, just revisiting those things that we're saying that are supposed to be, guiding us in this work, having that conversation about us as, informal educators. Sometimes it doesn't get the same steam as other things do, and just kind of want to put some wind in our sails behind that idea. So what else do we have here? Break, we'll be moving upstairs into the winter garden. And so on, this is where Nick he put in a lot of work on this afternoon, thinking about this whole unconference piece and how we'll work within that. Let's see. Did we ever finalize how Mimi Ito would present, given that she changed that she wasn't going to be there?
Yeah, Mimi Ito will be there via Zoom. And we'll be upstairs at round tables and have a chance to talk with her and hear from her. And that'll lead us into lunchtime. Yeah.
Mm-hmm. So there were some questions about how we might interact with her during that time. We didn't get that quite nailed down, I don't think.
And do you feel folks who are new to the network have a sense of who Mimi Ito is? She helped to develop some of the theoretical framework or that grounds UMedia network, the idea of Hamago, hanging out, messing around, geeking out, and connected learning. So she's the main researcher and scholar behind all the work, and she's been, helping to foster the UMedia network and is still working with libraries today. So it'll be interesting to hear from her. Let me just say, Marcus, I wanted to say that morning part is going to be at the UMedia space in Chicago, like in the space if you haven't been there.
Right.
And we'll also be folks from the branches, there's branch media centers in Chicago, they'll be joining in the morning too. So there'll be people from all over the country, plus a lot of media lab folks from Chicago.
And at this point, we're anticipating how many participants again?
We have 20. I think we're gonna have about I wrote it somewhere, sorry. I think we're gonna have about 25 in the afternoon and about twice that, 50 or so in the morning.
Mm-hmm.
In the this agenda has a lot of details on it. I think the link that I sent you all is a bit more of a streamlined version that we got a request for. You know, some people needed to show the agenda to like their bosses or whatever. So feel free to use the link in the chat to show people what the agenda is. And then, as Marcus was saying, in the afternoon, there's going to be this unconference time. So they're going to be these half an hour sessions. So a question like Katie's, you know, Katie, that's the kind of thing you could propose for a discussion during the unconference time. And in the chat, I put a link to a form where you can tell us, you know, if you want to bring something that you want to display, or if you want to run a little workshop in the morning. You can do that. And if you want to propose a roundtable in the afternoon, you can do that. So I put a link to a form you can fill out and let us know. Marcus, you told us what you were gonna bring. I think, Megan, you were talking about bringing some of the Dungeons and Dragons stuff, right?
That's right.
And Matt, did you have any ideas about what you might bring?
I'm gonna bring something, but no, I don't know what yet. We'll bring something.
I know Simon also has an idea, but he left. Do other people have ideas about something to bring, something you'd like to share, or questions about, you know, to help you think about what you might bring from your lab? Given that there's, wait, if you go up in the agenda, Marcus, how long? It's an hour in the morning, right, to share things?
Yeah.
Any thoughts about things you might bring to Chicago to share with other folks?
And you know, and just the other thing too, this is our first convening after, you know, several years. And so, you know, traditionally it would be just a large space where everybody had a chance to show off something that they were working with, and everybody could just kind of do round table and go and see, talk with that, you know, that group or that individual about what they're doing. And invariably you'll come back with 3 to 5 ideas that you might want to implement in your space, whether it's actual items that people are using, or you know, practices that they're, you know, having, you know, in how they have activities in the lab. So again, that's just the nature of this. It's practitioners sharing, you know, what they do. And it's not, you might think, oh, well, who's going to be interested in this small exercise for 8-year-olds? Well, we would be. You never know. So don't think about it as it has to be this high bar of technology for something that you implement. Because again, one of my greatest workshops was making paper airplanes. You'd be surprised at just, you know, how people might be moved by certain things. So don't let it, for the new folks coming, don't think that it has to be highbrow. And if you haven't presented anything, it's just a way to share what we do in our space. Again, it could just be a different way of using equipment too. So that might, you know, spur thoughts on somebody. So don't think like, oh, well, they wouldn't like this. So.
I mean, for example, anybody who's already using Affinity or Procreate, because we're in the procurement phase right now, and we would have gotten far in June knowing how SFPL works. So truly, if you bring an iPad and a digital pencil and show us what you've done and little YouTube video clips of what kids have done, that would be fantastic.
Mhm. And, again, the other thing as we think about, and I don't know if we'll get to the whole program coordinator component today, but again, if we're as a network thinking, collectively about tools and resources that we use, then at the end of the day, that gives us some leverage when we start thinking about this as an organization, as a association, if you will. If we're saying that there's 40 libraries using Procreate, that's going to mean something to somebody at some point, you know. So just in thinking of those best practices that we have and how we can leverage them, and our benefit is also huge too. So even if you feel like you might be duplicating the wheel, it's not a bad thing, because there's other ways to think about how we leverage how we do stuff.
Here comes Alicia.
Do we still need to continue looking at the agenda, or do we have questions about it?
Alicia. I think we can probably stop looking at it. I don't know. Just so we can see each other maybe better. And I'd love to hear from folks, like if they had ideas or questions about things they'd like to bring to Chicago, or just to like help use this time, like just because sometimes it's hard to think of something. So if we share some ideas, maybe you think of something. Also, no one's obligated, but maybe we can hear from Alicia and just welcome her. What was the prompt, Matt, that we started with?
Something you're excited about this summer, programming wise, a new partnership, something like that. Something you're excited about that you'll be doing this summer.
Oh, do you want me to talk now? Can you hear me? Probably can't hear me because I'm unplugged. Okay.
We can't hear you.
We could hear you before, can't hear you now.
Can you hear me now?
Yes.
Okay, so yeah, unplugged my mic. Sorry about that. It happens, right? So many things to be excited about this summer. I was just clarifying some stuff with some of our partners. But basically this summer I'm going to work with Parks and Rec, and we're going to get out in the community and do some outdoor messy crafts, the stuff you don't want in your home. And we're going to do hydro dipping in the park, and we're going to do galaxy shirts and tie-dye shirts in the park. And then we're going to have a glitter party. And yes, it will be a deglittering station, but we're going to make stuff where you can actually add glitter to it and take it home and it doesn't get all over the house. So people will actually have a chance to enjoy glitter and not go, don't bring that in the house. So that's one of the things I'm really excited about doing with our Parks and Rec team and working with my new coworkers here.
And which site are you at?
Oh, I'm at McMillan Memorial Library in central Wisconsin. As you can see, it's gorgeous this time of year. And I hope you like my fantasy background. I like what I'm seeing from page 2. So Adventure Time every day. Yes, absolutely. So yeah, it's a year we're hoping to get a summer. It's a year where we're not getting those, you've heard of those years without summer. So we're hoping to get one of those so we can do these outdoor crafts and not have a lot of issues. One of the things we're going to do is resin, and we have a nice covered area. We're not worried about the sun. at all. We can just use the UV lamps to turn our resin into nice hard things. But yeah, we're going to be doing a lot of different things that maybe people in the community have seen on YouTube, but never done in person. And it's basically the reason I'm out in the parks is because our makerspace is getting busier and busier and busier. And I don't want to fight with people about booking it. So I'm moving out into the community, working with partners. And my schedule in the last year has changed 4 times. And so every time I change that, that changes when we do the maker days. And the kids are like, so when are we doing maker days? And I'm like, great question. So I'm adapting as I go and trying to plan ahead. That I've been told that my current schedule will not change until the end of 2023. So I'm planning to do more maker events on the dates that have been booked out for me going forward. And having those fun conversations with staff who feel that they have to book out 8-hour slots of all the rooms for 6 weeks in advance. Having those fun conversations. Good times. That's all. I mean, is there
Oh.
anything else you'd like to hear about?
Well, wait,
a few things
we were
going
talking
on.
about the U Media convening before you got on.
Yeah, and I'm so sorry Kristen couldn't make it. She has a graduation happening, and in her family, they have certain traditions that they do, and she's a part of that, and I respect that. And so she was talking with her family like, oh yeah, I'm going to this great media thing. I'm so excited. And they're like, so are you going to help us with the things we do every time someone graduates? She's like, what? And she basically need to be there for 3 days ahead of time. And I'm like, okay, well, I guess that kind of eliminates you from coming. She really wanted to come. I'm thinking right now she's upstairs in the makerspace working on another project right this minute. But I'm sorry she can't come, but she's looking forward to coming in the future. This was just one of those like, oh my gosh, yeah, you can't miss that kind of a thing.
Yeah.
So I did not tell her not to come. I really want her to come, I swear. Was looking forward to a girls' trip, writing down, but no.
Alicia, can you remind me, do you work with middle and high school? What do you work with?
I work with 11 and up, and with the crafts I'll be doing this summer, I'm actually going to dip down a little bit and tell the parents, anybody 3 to 11 who can bring a parent is welcome to come to these events. We'll see how that goes. I'm having a lot of signups, and what I'm doing is as they sign up, because with the Galaxy shirts and the t-shirts, there's a lot of different sizes. I do have a huge tub of unused t-shirts, and black, white, and gray. That's why I said I got to get rid of these things. But as the parents are telling me, the kids' sizes and everything, I'm putting it into an Excel spreadsheet and working with it from that. So it is a bit complicated working with more than just my core group of 11 and up. But I think.
And when you say up, sorry, are you 11 to like if an adult wants to participate, or are you 11 to 18, 11 to 19?
I work generally with 11 to 18, but for this particular summertime, I'll be working with anybody who comes, preferably with a kid, so we can introduce these kids to wonderful programming. But yeah, we'll see.
Thanks so much. Thank you.
So Alicia, I'm gonna put a draft of the agenda in the chat if you want to look at it for the convening. But we were talking about opportunities that people have to bring things to the convening. But I guess maybe there's a conversation about what do you want to get from the convening too? Like, it'd be
Me
great.
personally,
Anybody here on the call. So yeah, but go ahead.
Okay. I was looking at I was going to look at the draft agenda, but just really, I feel like I'm going as Kristen's proxy too. She wants to get more ideas or more things to do and just kind of bounce off each other. I'm really looking forward to just talking with you guys, not on the screen, and being able to read your body language while we have a conversation. That'll be really fun. And kind of talk about things that we're doing here, ways we can improve delivery of services. And again, as you might have guessed, scheduling. How do you schedule when everybody wants a piece of you? When people are literally pasting their faces against the glass of your makerspace going, I want in. And you're like, you're going to need to be trained on that laser cutter. How do you balance all that with the person who, they're in school and they're learning all this stuff in school. They know how all this stuff works. And they're like, you're being mean. you're not letting us use it. I can see it from here and I know how to use it. And they actually do. I mean, how do you balance all that? So yeah, it'd be great to hear some feedback on that. How to do training.
Definitely for me, and then I'm gonna have to jump off. I'm actually double booked here in the meeting space here. But for me, just as an educator that's been in the classroom and also worked in this informal space, it's important to think about the work that we do in a more formal way, I think, because we see the ability and lack thereof of what public education can deliver to our young people. Then we see that we have these young people in our space anywhere from 3 to 4 hours. And the traction that we're able to get and the understanding and the relationships that we're able to build with these young people in this space of time that they can't do within a high school, I think is something to really think about. So one of the, I've been on a one person silent crusade to elevate connected learning over the past year. So this would be just kind of moving into that space of, just kind of in our seriousness and the stuff that people say is important, like the STEM education and robotics and all of this stuff, but they still want to keep it as and compartmentalized in after school stuff, which is good in some ways because then we can operate how we want to, but also at the same time, if they were taking it seriously, then it would be more integrated. So again, that's just a goal for me, is to think about how we can, wag the dog, if you will, a little bit and put some pressure on some folks to do a little bit more justice by our young people during the day. So that's lofty there, but that's where my head is.
If I may, I think kind of going off of Marcus and into my area has is lower privilege and has a lot of the kids are under a lot of pressure. There's a lot of, and it's, taking care of their families and they're here after school because their parents are working and they don't have internet at home and they don't have phones. And so there's a lot of like external stress on them. And I like this summer, especially, I want to really focus on helping the mental health, giving them an area where they can just create and not worry about things, because at the end of the day, they're really burned out. And maybe like finding a way to integrate a lot of this stuff, some STEAM stuff, some cool things that they can learn and hands-on stuff without overloading them more. Because I have the kids talking to me every day, and sometimes they'll come up to me in tears and like telling me about what happened at school or at home. And it's hard. It's been very hard for them. And I want them to know that they don't need to do anything other than whatever they want to do, just like work on something. And sometimes it's quiet and not talking to me. And sometimes it's throwing fake snowballs at each other. But yeah, ways to kind of balance, use this cool technology and the stuff that we have and move it towards some mental health care as well for them. Yeah, we're in Southern Arizona. We don't got the real stuff, but we have these little like fluffy things that you can throw really hard, but if it doesn't hurt when it hits people because it like loses that momentum. So you have kids just like chucking them like dodgeball style, but it doesn't hurt because they just float. It's quite fun. Yeah.
So I'll say something that I would love to get from the convening is a conversation started for best practices of youth workforce, not youth workforce, sorry, talk about that all the time, of like youth advisory boards. Over the years, some libraries have really excelled at forming advisory boards to help direct well, first of all, just to give youth an opportunity to engage in that process, as well as giving them a direct voice in the sorts of decisions that we make as spaces. And we have been tasked as a system of bringing back a youth advisory board. And it's something that we struggled with when we first opened. And I know that I can look to this network for places who are doing it really well. And so both getting back to practice of it as a network of formalizing the way that we share that content, on community of practice, putting that zip file up. I'm proud of what we've built. Here's what we've built. Here's how we can share it, as well as having conversations around it. It would really help me out.
I think I would like to share, well, we're already doing youth workforce development here, but I would like to just hear if anyone else is doing it and share ideas about that. I know we have teens in the mix who, I'm gonna talk about what Alicia was saying, where they're looking at the thing, they know how to use the machinery, they know how to use all the things. I had a teen kind of show me how to use Blender, I think it was. I still don't know how, but they wanted to use a 3D machine and they already knew how to do everything. So this idea pops in my head, like, why can't we have this teen come in and like maybe help run a program or train the staff or something like that. I'm just pushing out ideas from my head, but using the teens and their knowledge to help us progress and grow.
Can I just say I want to go to Katie's background and just swim? Okay, I'm done.
It's supposed to be like Lord of the Rings. Got that fantasy background also.
I was thinking that, I'm like, that's too beautiful. I mean, the Rockies are gorgeous, but I'm like, that's not a real place. It's got to be a beautiful place in the mind of a creative person. I want to go there.
I think it's Rivendell.
And I'm thinking, based on what Jason just said, something that we could start about in the convening and build out is these different tracks depending on what the union environment is like where you are. I think that conversation about how to support youth workforce development at your library can sound in one place like a no-brainer, and in another place, like that Chicago and San Francisco, I think, have some commonalities right now that X or Y library system might not. And so sometimes those conversations about like, here's what we done good, like we can get really tripped up. It's like, oh, I can't translate that. Like, how did they get over that hurdle? Oh, they don't have that hurdle. So I think that forming sort of affinity, that we should have a goal over the next year or two to start to form some useful affinity groups internally to solve, because the conversation can look really different.
I was wondering if Megan or Matt, if you have access to the list of unconference sessions, because what I'm hearing people say, a lot of these could be unconference topics, like that youth leadership piece is such an important part of you media. How do you support their leadership development? And then
Matt,
there's
I'm at
workforce
home. Can you do
development
that?
too, right? Like it can be different. Sorry, go ahead, Megan.
I would just answer your question. I'm at home, so Matt, I hope you can get in because I don't have any of my bookmarks set here.
Okay. Heather, were you gonna say something? Sorry. Okay.
I'm searching now. Give me a second. I'll see if I can find it. I know I have it shared with me someplace.
Heather, even with your changes, are you able to come to the convening?
Well, that's what I want to talk about with my my supervisor who is out today. So
Okay.
I'm just transferring. So I don't know if it makes sense for me to keep the connection with you media, because I could bring it to my new location and like give it a little bit more attention, or like if it's going to just stay with the department. So I'm going to just figure that out, and as soon as I know, which should be by the end of tomorrow, what the plan is, I'll let you all know. I'll let you know.
Okay.
Yeah.
Great. Thanks.
Found it. Now I'm just trying to figure out how to share my screen here.
Okay. Katie, did you want to say something too?
Yeah, I also I had an idea just based on like what I've been seeing in the news, especially the past few weeks. I was wondering if we could kind of brainstorm potential ideas with technology with AI
Yeah.
and how that might affect libraries and how we could have programming around that, you know, in years to come.
Yeah, that's really, I work a lot with teachers in schools, so it's a hot topic for sure. I also heard Paige talk about the social emotional learning component. And I mean, I feel like you all talked about that in some way, just in terms of the programming you're doing this summer, you know, sounded like emotionally supportive in different ways.
All right, so I could share, but I'm gonna have to like enable some permissions that will cause me to shut down my Zoom for a little bit and then have to reopen it. So I'm just gonna read this off, some of the content we have for the afternoon sessions. Some of the stuff people just brought up, and then we can definitely add more. But we have a few kind of categories: cross-network collaboration, youth social emotional needs, intergenerational work, Homago and UMedia Hallmark. So kind of an offshoot group to really dive into those partnerships, yearly data reporting, evaluation, which maybe training could play a role in too. I don't know, advocacy for the work, and then an attendee generated section. So this is anything else we wanted to add, we could kind of add that here. Any other topics?
Cool, thanks.
I think that's it so far.
Yeah, so more can be suggested. Alicia, you had your hand raised?
Yeah, I was just thinking, you know, perhaps we might want to look at low-tech options for mental health, because you'd be surprised how nicely you can calm a whole room down. People were shocked. I had some of the wildest kids in a room doing perler beads and listening to Minecraft music, and they loved it. The quiet, you know, just putting the perler beads in these little rows was just very calming for them. I am printing out more and more coloring pages, and people are just drawn to my area, adults and teens, who just want to sit and color when they're feeling overwhelmed. So I think if we could do something on low tech and how that might connect, because sometimes you don't want to have to measure out a lot of fabric and do whatnot when you're thinking about your mom's cancer diagnosis. You got enough on your mind. Maybe you just want to color. There might be, you know, those are my two low tech options. I know there's a lot more out there. I'd like to know more about other low tech options for stress relief.
Yeah,
I think that's great. Yeah. We do like a little cardboard loom weaving activity. So, you know, the same kind of getting into the flow, whether it's like weaving, crocheting, do some like textile fiber arts. But yeah, I love that idea.
And I think part of what I hear come up in these convenings a lot is it depends on whether that institutions who have already established a really solid STEAM workforce within that library or museum need that reminder that the pendulum swings back to low tech. Whereas libraries who have a really well-developed librarian workforce and who are struggling to get their system to provide and support the STEM leadership are stuck in that world of low tech and need to find pathways to the STEM and STEAM. So I think that talking about the importance of that balance to our leadership, that both parts of that need to be provided at every UMedia space. Going back to Marcus, your point that, you know, we can be a group that can advocate that as being a balance that we're seeing in every space is necessary for teams.
Nice. I was also thinking that it might be something, Alicia, the way you framed it around the social emotional support, it might be something to like share or like to open a conversation within that morning session. And to share a conversation about that, and bring some examples that you have and see what other people, you know, people come by and talk to you about it. So. Yeah, well, I think we're at 2:00. We're at the end of the hangout, but thank you all for being here and looking forward to seeing you all very soon in person, right? Exciting.
Thank you so much, Christina. Looking
Be
forward
great.
to it.
Yeah,
Yeah.
thank you.
Thanks, everyone.
Safe
Thank
travels there.
you.
And
See y'all.
Heather,
guys
remember I'm in
again.
Philadelphia if you want, you know, we can check in virtually or in person.
Yeah, I'll
Okay,
be in
thanks.
touch real soon.
Okay, great.
Gotta run to my next meeting. Bye.
Thank you.
Bye.
Bye.